Riders, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing an oil change on our 2016 BMW GS Adventure. The same process is going to apply from years 2014 all the way up to 2018. For the job, all you're going to need to do is have a T30 Torx. You're going to need to have a 10mm Allen wrench. You're also going to need to have an oil specific to your BMW. So you're going to need to have 4 quarts of oil. You're going to need to have a crusher so you're able to apply it to your oil drain plug. And you're also going to need to have an oil filter. Other than that, it's going to be fairly straightforward. Before changing your oil, you must bring your engine up to operating speed. That way your oil is able to drain a lot faster. Once your engine has reached operating temperature, you have removed the 5 bolt from your skid plate. You go ahead and remove your oil drain. In my case, or in your case, you might want to go ahead and if you have a bigger oil pan, go ahead and use that one. As you can see on my video, I use a smaller one that I have. Even though I have a 10-gallon one, I use a smaller one. This is going to be basically big enough to do one oil change, and the flow that comes from your oil pan is going to be a lot greater than what the oil pan is able to go ahead and do. Also, it's safe to say, make sure that you have open your vent. That way the oil is able to go ahead and just quickly go into your oil pan, and you're going to avoid making any messes like we did in this video. Once you have done that, you definitely want to make sure that you let basically all of your oil out. Once you start seeing a small drip, it's safe to assume that you're basically ready to go ahead and put your bowl back in. You're going to see that for this oil change, we use Liquid Moly. This is going to be a 540. This is going to basically specific to BMW standards. You can get this kit from Beamer Boneyard. What you get is you're going to get a 4.23 gallon jug. It's also going to come with a oil filter, and you're also going to get a crusher that you're going to go ahead and apply to your oil drain plug once you're ready to go ahead and screw it back in place. If you are going to be doing this yourself, you just go ahead and follow BMW recommendations as far as your torque or Newton meters. I just go ahead and just do it a hand tight, just because I've been doing oil changes my whole life. So to me, it's not going to be a big deal. But if you want to follow factory specs, please go ahead and do so. Let's go ahead and proceed removing the oil filter. So I bought this cheap hyper tough oil filter removal tool from Walmart. It usually does the trick with my cars. I'm trying to see if I can avoid spending what some of the shops are charging, around 20 bucks for you to get the tool. So, and it actually does. I mean, all it's doing is basically just grabbing the oil filter right here. Now, once I get a aftermarket skid plate, I might actually have to break down and spend money on getting it, but right now, let me see if I'm able to. Nope, not yet. Right now, with the stock bash plate that we have, I mean, which barely does anything, this basically will do the trick. So what we're going to do now is, as I said, I'm trying to avoid getting oil all over my oxygen sensor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right over here, and let me put it right here so we also avoid getting as much of that oil on the pipe right here. So let's see. And here we have it. This is a BMW oil filter, the one that came from with the dealer. Now here we have the replacement. And basically, as you can see, it's already all drained. So what I'm going to do is, before we do anything, we're going to go ahead and wipe this down. That way we basically get as much of this oil out. We want to make sure that this is completely clean. So now, let's give this a good wipe. Let's put that there. As you can see, there's no oil on our oxygen sensor or anything like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give this a good wipe. Now that we have it clean, what we're going to do is we're going to grab some of the new oil that we have here, And you're just gonna go ahead and basically just lubricate right here the seal. So here we go. That's gonna be plenty. So all you want to do is just lubricate it. That way you get a nice seal. And then we're gonna go ahead and put it back. So here we have it. Let's go ahead and put it back. So as you can see, basically we have a nice clean surface. We have our oil right there. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the same tool that I just used to remove the oil filter, just to give it a kind of a better snug here. And as I said, feel free to go by factory specs for your oil filter. I've never done it. Not to say that that's the right or wrong way to do it. It's just that I've never done it. So I've always gone just with, you know, hand tight. So now let's go ahead and add our oil. And as I said earlier, the beauty of this is going to be that, as you can see, you're going to have your own spout. And that's basically going to be how you're going to be filling this up. So let's go ahead and unscrew it. Let's put it up here. And now that we're here, let's go ahead and add our oil. So I basically went ahead and poured the whole thing in, almost the whole thing. What we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and now turn the motorcycle on. I want to make sure that we are within spec. We don't want to overfill it. The BMW is going to come equipped with a side glass, which is going to be on the other side. Come on, John, get it together, bud. So our side glass is going to be right over here. So you're going to see our side glass right now is full. However, the oil has not cycled through the crank or anything like that. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'll recheck again like in once the oil starts to come down. As you can see, the oil now is completely gone because it's cycling through the engine. Now what we're gonna do is just take a closer look. What I'm gonna look for is gonna be number one, oil leaks before we check our side glass. So right now I don't have any oil leaking from our oil filter. And one more thing that we wanna do is, and this is gonna be some oil from our oil change, so we're just gonna wipe it down. We wanna go ahead and see if we have oil leaking around our drain bolt. And right now, everything looks good. There's not going to be any oil whatsoever, so that means that everything right now is good as far as that goes. So once I have once I make sure that we have enough oil in the engine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give it another like 2 or 3 minute cycle. That way I make sure that everything is where it should be, and then we should be good to go. So as you can see right now, basically we're going to be at the upper end of the field. So I would say that right now we're gonna go ahead and not add any more oil. We're gonna leave it like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cycle it one more time just to be on the safe side. But honestly, we should be good to go at that point in time. The only thing that we're gonna have left to do is gonna be basically just reset our service light. As you guys know, BMWs are gonna have a 6,000 service, where there's going to be every 6,000 for the edging oil, every 12,000 for the final drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do everything at once. For this video, we're just going to be doing the engine. The next video, I'm going to go ahead and do the final drive. Final drive is going to be even easier just because you don't really have to run the engine or anything. I mean, you might benefit from running the motorcycle maybe a couple of miles to get that oil nice and warm. That way it drains a little bit faster, but you don't even have to do that. So guys, if you enjoy this content, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That way the algorithm knows it's good, and I will see you guys on my next video.